Hi guys, you're watching Mia's new pair of glasses, and in today's video I'm going to show you about 1% of the extreme and strange things that have been happening worldwide that most people do not know of. Why do they not know? Because they're wasting their time. Too busy watching pretty sky picture videos on MRBB3 at 15 minutes a video, or 2-hour videos of, I don't know, it's just a theory of mine, but videos, people talking about ascending or superpowers that you absolutely will not have, or trying to wrap their head around something they cannot possibly comprehend because they lack the base understanding of the model of how things work in our world. But when you understand that and the forces that connect everything together, then you will understand what's happening, what's going to happen, and why. But most people have no clue. So this is why I'm going to show you this stuff today, because guys, I don't know what it's going to take to wake people up. I mean, this is happening all around you, all around the world every single day. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people have seen my videos where I warned about the Empcoe and I've showed the signs and explained it. That many people have had the luxury of having the truth in the palm of their hands, and they couldn't even recognize it, and they walked away from it and went somewhere else. That is how lost and confused humanity is. But first, before we get into the current things going on, the deadline to join my private website is January 1st, 2020. After that date, membership will be closed.
What is the most resilient parasite? A bacteria? A virus? An intestinal worm?
What Mr. Cobb is trying to say.
An idea. Resilient, highly contagious. Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate. An idea that is fully formed, fully understood, that sticks.
So when I say this stuff is happening all around us now, it's happening now. Recently in the Deep South, in December, they had a minimum of 37 severe tornadoes. One tornado leaving a 62-mile path of destruction. We're going to look at some of these events now while we discuss what's going on. Now, of course, the mainstream science community is going to tell you that tornadoes in December in the United States are not uncommon, but of course they're going to say that. The reality is the conditions necessary to create tornadoes, due to their own model, cannot happen in December. and certainly not 37 in one day. But the reason this is happening is the increase in electromagnetism. Tornadoes are an electromagnetic weather phenomenon, like everything else in our world. And we are going to continue to see the destruction increase just like this, but worse, as we get closer to the Empcoe. And that's just one weather catastrophe. And if you're newer to my channel, everybody that's been watching knows that we predicted this stuff was going to happen before it happened. All the crazy weather that has happened started in December of 2018, and we called it before it ever even happened because we know the forces that caused this. We told people we were going to get more rain because we saw the clouds forming in the sky, popping out of nowhere. As I've said it many times, the byproduct of plasma is water, so it's creating more clouds. So now we're getting extreme amounts of torrential rain in a very short period of time. I mean, people, this is not normal. This should not be happening. I can't even count how many tornado outbreaks we've had in the United States alone this winter. And this is happening. I mean, look at this, people. This is happening. There is absolutely nothing that we have said that can be disputed. There's no way to disprove it because it is 100% fact. The only question is, now that you know this, what are you going to do about it? There are thousands who have sat on the sidelines watching, knowing we are correct, trying to figure out whether to join our sites. Well, there's no more time to debate. People spend over $1,000 each year on cable, which is the thing that is conditioning you and brainwashing you. But they have the ability to get all the answers and the correct information on what's happening and when. And they won't spend over $300 on a one-time basis for the answers that could save their life and their loved ones, or minimum prevent suffering. There will sure be a lot of soul searching when the worst of this hits, and you knew about it and did nothing. By the way, this is footage we're looking at in Kuwait of major flooding in a desert climate after just 2 hours of rain. So if you're out in a shelter or a camp, what do you think is going to happen when this weather comes along? And it is guaranteed by some natural disaster that you are going to be displaced. So now we're going to talk about the fact that everything that's happening is connected and is due to electromagnetism. So the reason why people see flashes in the sky before earthquakes, like was captured before this recent devastating earthquake in Albania, is because it's an electromagnetic phenomenon. It's not HAARP, it's not anybody doing anything to you through any kind of weapon or technology. It is electromagnetic, just like with volcanoes. So volcanic lightning is supposedly a super rare phenomenon, yet every volcano that's been erupting recently has had lightning coming out of it, like this one we saw back in the summer in Guatemala. This is an electromagnetic phenomenon. This force is what affects all the natural catastrophes in our world. So every natural catastrophe that could happen is happening, and it's going to continue to happen and increase because of the increase in the electromagnetism that comes along with the Empcoe. And this is why we are seeing this stuff happen, but there's nobody out there that can accurately connect all these things and explain to you why these things are happening. That's why we're having all the explosions of chemical plants, military depots, factories, houses, apartment buildings. Let's take a look at this fireworks factory explosion in Sicily. These are not random accidents. These are all connected, and it's happening all over, but it's buried in a sea of ridiculous news stories, media, and distractions. But the people on my site know exactly what's happening every day because I search this stuff out and I post it for them so that they can see. So they're not left in the dark wondering what's happening that they haven't heard of. They know exactly what's happening. And I've told you before, it takes a lot of time to search out this stuff. That's why so many people are oblivious to how bad things really are. Where you put your time and attention matters. Because if people haven't heard about it, it's like it's not happening. That's why so many people are wasting their time listening to people that focus on one topic or one subject. Like those who tell you about the food shortage and that it's being covered up, but then they tell you the solution is to grow your own food. Well, let me tell you, if you're displaced from your home from flooding, hurricanes, tornadoes, or other weather catastrophes, you're not going to be growing a garden. You can have all the supplies in the world stashed away, but if you're in the wrong location, you're going to have to leave it behind. Because when the fires, flooding, explosions, and other severe stuff drive you from your home or shelter, or if you are mandatorily evacuated, you're not going to have anything with you. If you are displaced and you get put in a shelter when the riots and violence start because the food and supplies run out, you're going to be in the absolute worst place you can be. Just look at what happened during Hurricane Katrina, and that was a short period of time. If you know that we are correct, what are you waiting for? What are you doing? Get into our sites where you can get correct information. You don't have to wonder if you're getting it from somebody who knows what they're talking about or not. Okay, so now we're going to go on to talk about something that just annoys the crap out of me because it's a complete lack of thinking. So the electromagnetic phenomena we've been seeing in the sky that has been mistaken for searchlights or UFOs, or because somebody's seen way too many alien movies, this is what searchlights look like, okay? All you have to do is look up searchlights to see what that looks like. And then you go look at the stuff that's being captured in the sky in large quantities on a consistent basis. And I'm going to show you just a few. But take a look at this. When you have event lights or searchlights, you can see a beam that reaches up to the sky. So this is what they look like. Here's a faraway video of what it appears like. There are no beams that are visible. These lights are coming from above the clouds. And the reason that is because light needs something to reflect off. And so you only see these lights in the sky when there are clouds in the sky because those clouds are catching the light. Light is invisible unless it has something to reflect off. Not to mention, a lot of these lights have been seen with nothing underneath it but rural land. No building, no events, and nobody stops to research the area to even see what's around there before they jump to conclusions about what it is. And that's why people can't figure it out, because they're holding on to ideas they picked up somewhere. Where do ideas come from? The ideas people believe have no basis in fact. They're exactly the ideas that the people who control this world want you to have. And though it's coming from someone else, those ideas take hold in you. The majority of the ideas you hold on to, you yourself don't truly understand. You have taken it on someone else's authority. It's easier to believe that this is weather manipulation being done by some group, because that way it doesn't mean total destruction. And it also gives someone to blame. People want someone to blame. It's easier to think that this is climate change because that means it's years in the future and you have most of your life left. It's easier to think this is a grand solar minimum, though I can't believe people even believe that, because that's a mainstream idea, and if you believe they've lied to you, then they've lied to you about everything. But at least that way, it'll get better eventually, right? Wrong. And all the while, you do nothing but listen to other people, waiting for someone else to tell you what to do and when you should do it, when the evidence is right in front of you. Well, let me tell you, that day is not going to come because the world is not set up that way. You are going to have to know what to do and when to do it. And if you have no idea what's happening and what's coming, you're going to be completely lost. I couldn't fit all the videos of this stuff captured in the sky, just this stuff, in a 4-hour video. It happens so often. I couldn't show you all the places that have flooded in the last month in a 12-hour video. That's how often it's happening. Not to mention all of the other extreme weather disasters that are occurring right now. So I try and pick just some to show you because nobody else is doing it. They'll pick one aspect and waste your time on that when that's not the only thing you need to know. Or they have no idea what they're talking about and they waste people's time instead of sending people to us, and that is an extreme disservice to this world.
What is the most resilient parasite? A bacteria? A virus? An intestinal worm?
What Mr. Cobb is trying to say.
An idea. Resilient, highly contagious. Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate. An idea that is fully formed, fully understood, that sticks.
For those of you who've criticized us for not putting everything out publicly, look what's happened with everything that we have put out. People take it, twist it, and then no one even knows where the initial information came from. We're extremely small channels relative to other channels, and everything we've put out has been taken and used to continue to confuse and deceive people. So we're not putting it out publicly anymore. Not to mention that the only place we can put this information is on our private platforms, because if we put out certain things, we will get shut down and then no one will get the information. Stop doing nothing, people. It will be your biggest regret. You have the ability to have the answers and learn what's really going on for a pretty low amount of money. You will only have yourself to blame if you let that opportunity pass you by. That's all I have for you guys today. Everybody stay safe, be good to one another, and God bless.